Alright, hey, shalom akim, shalom. First and foremost, as always, before we get started, giving all praise, honor, and glory unto the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ruach HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, the elders of Great Millstone that have taught us His truth and that know well, and peace and blessings go out to the hopeful members of the elect, scattered throughout the four winds of the earth, that are in the hopes of receiving salvation and mercy during the time of Jacob's trouble, and that are worshiping the Heavenly Father in sincerity, in spirit, and in truth. Alright. Now in this lesson I want to play a couple clips that I've been, seeing on social media, as well as in different videos that brothers have been, doing videos on. And the main point that I want to really highlight is the sheer fact of how Esau is using ice as nothing more but, weaponry for the purpose of him being able to instate and further acclimate society into accepting a digital society where all their information is going to be put forth on a database, where they're going to be identified as an American citizen, as a Republican that advocates for Trump, and so much and so forth. Alright, and pretty much if you don't fall within the guidelines of those parameters, you're going to be looked at as a domestic terrorist. Alright, so with that being said, Lord willing, this is an edifying lesson. As you can see queued up on the screen, you have a little video that's giving you the, it says massive crowds turn out at anti-protests across the US. Alright, and pretty much the date that I'm doing this lesson is on Friday, January 30th, 2026, and today America was pretty much in agreement where they were going to use this Friday as a day to pretty much riot and protest what's happening by way of ICE. Alright, and you can see the set effect of how emotionally attached people are based upon what Esau is doing to illegal immigrants, man. Which of course in itself it's something inhumane, but at the end of the day we understand that the Heavenly Father is doing all this by way of the left hand. And one of the things that we got to understand is the fact that all this is done and said for the purpose of fulfilling the Heavenly Father's word, man. Alright, so like I said, the key point that I want to make is the fact of how Esau is using ice as a Trojan horse method to further bring people into acclimating to the real world of what Esau is getting ready to introduce. Alright, now I mentioned the term Trojan horse. And real quick, just to get a little bit more of an in-depth understanding of what that is, in case you have some brothers that may not know what that is, I simply asked, what is the Trojan horse method, to chat, and it says the Trojan horse method is a strategy where something appears harmless, helpful, or desirable on the surface, but is actually used to gain hidden access, influence, or control once it's accepted. Alright, and pretty much within the set conditions of what ICE is doing, it's nothing more but Esau creating some kind of chaos for the purpose of people getting a reaction out of it. And then once all that's done, Esau is going to bring forth the solution so that people can accept what Esau is trying to do, which is nothing more but him wanting you to conform to him being your new God and being able to control all your ins and outs, which is going to be governed based off the mark of the beast, which is an RFID. Alright, it says the name comes from the ancient story of the Trojan horse. The Greeks pretended to offer a gift, but soldiers were hidden inside. Once the Trojans brought it into their city, the Greeks revealed themselves and took Troy from within. Alright, core idea in simple terms: get inside first by looking friendly, then act once trust or access is granted. Alright, and that's pretty much what Esau is doing right now, man. Within the set forum of him, making this facade of saying that ICE is going to help lower down crime and this, that, and the third, people are getting a reaction out of it. Alright, and slowly but surely as things continue to escalate, Esau is going to take ICE and make it be something that is weaponized. Alright, now I'm not sure if brothers recall this video, but I think this goes back during the time of Joe Biden's presidency, but when Joe Biden pretty much opened the border and allowed pretty much anybody to come through, you had a lot of Persians, so-called Iranians, coming through, and were under the notion of pretty much saying that, yeah, very soon we're gonna fuck this place up. All right. So real quick, let's let this play, and then after this, I have a precept that I wanna read. Right. Salakia, I'm not sure where. Okay, there you go. Let me delete that. Let's play this. Real quick, it says, Middle Eastern illegal immigrant. Soon you will know who I am. Alright? And here's a picture of who people think he might be, which is Mavsum Samadov. Alright, but listen to what he says.
I am. But soon you're going to know who I am.
Very easy. The entitlement.
No, believe me, I'm much better than that.
The entitlement guy. Wow.
You are smart enough to know who I am. But you are really not smart enough to know who I am.
If you're smart enough, you'll know who exactly I am. Alright? Again, this is nothing more but an example of that Trojan horse method. You have all these different illegal immigrants coming through the border, and now, coming into President Trump's second term of being a president, everybody's getting rid out. Shows you that this is nothing more but a stage, man. But the point being, just me thinking as a man and, trying to put two and two together. Esau is going to turn something up to the point where you have a lot of these illegal immigrants doing some out-of-pocket shit where they kill a bunch of ICE agents, And once that happens, what do you think's going to happen? All hell breaking out loose. Alright? 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. People shall matter of fact, let's get that real quick. Alright. 2nd Ezra 15, and I believe the point that we want is in the 16th verse. Alright. I think we can start up a couple verses. You know what? Just, for the sake of time, let's go straight to the point at verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So by, this goddamn, what appears to be an Ishmaelite starts kicking things off. And there's way many more of these kind of people, man. Right? But as they start getting the party rolling, so to speak, you're going to have a lot of Edomites as well as Jakes that are going to get down too. The course of their action is going to stand in their power. They're going to do what they got to do to take matters into their own hands and get their freedom back. Because we're Americans. But this is nothing more but Esau leading you down into a ditch and making you fall for his deception. Alright? Because once all that happens, guess what Esau's going to do? Again, ordo ab chaos, Hegelian dialectic, where once you fall for his delusion, he's now going to come out of nowhere and produce a solution to the mayhem that he has caused. Alright? Again, this is nothing more but Esau doing what he's always done, which is a controlled demolition where everything's catered to how he wants things to happen. Alright? You people are just nothing more but the dummies that are falling for the trap. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the house shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. Alright, so once all these circumstances are founded upon America, again, Esau's going to come in out of nowhere, set up these FEMA camps, these little sanctuaries for people to settle in and have some kind of asylum from the hell that's being caught out in the cities, and, pawn people to come in. The only thing that is required of you is to take this little sea hip, You see how Esau moves, man? Real quick, this is before we get back to another video that I want to play. Wisdom of Solomon 2:10. Let us oppress the poor righteous man, Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged. Let our strength be the law of justice. And what is this justice catered to? To justify Esau from all the shit that he's doing right now, man. Okay? For that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn. But the point being is in the 11th verse. Alright? Just to illustrate the said idea of what Esau is trying to convey to the public. Alright? So, that was it in this video. From here, let's go to this next one, where you have this lady, invoke an ICE agent, and he said something that he wasn't supposed to say.
It's not illegal to record.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah. Why are you taking my information down?
Because we have a nice little database.
Oh, good.
And now you're considered a domestic terrorist. So
We're videotaping you? Are you crazy?
Now you're considered a domestic terrorist. And where is he uploading that information? Like you said, on a little database. Don't worry about it. But very soon, alright, Esau is going to end up killing those that don't agree with the agenda. Alright? And it's going to get ugly out here, man. So ugly, so much so, that people are going to be left with no other resolution but to go to Esau for help. Show that they're not a domestic terrorist. I'm this, I'm that. I didn't mean it like that. And conform to just do and, take whatever Esau gives them, man.
It's not
Let's
illegal
see
to
that
record.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah. Why are you taking my information down?
Because we have a nice little database.
Oh, good.
And now you're considered a domestic terrorist. So
We're videotaping you? Are you crazy?
Yeah, man. So this is Esau doing what he's always done.
It's not illegal to
And
record.
that's being Satan. Alright? An adversary along with being the devil, which is a deceiver. Alright? So real quick, before we go back to chat concerning the Trojan horse method, let's get this in Isaiah 10:1. Alright? Let's wait for the NLT to load, because I think there's a verse or two that I want to get in that version. Let's read the KJV. It says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed." Okay? So all this is a set, prescription that Esau is bringing forth to the world so that they can do what he wants you to do. Alright? To turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. And what will you do in the day of visitation, and in the desolation which shall come from far? To whom will you flee for help? And where will you leave your glory? And the answer to what a lot of people are going to give forth to this question is to go to Esau for the want of all things, man. Alright? Reading that one in the NLT, it says, "What will you do when I punish you? When I send disaster upon you from a distant land? To whom will you turn for help? Where will your treasures be? Be safe, And it's going to be with Esau, man. A lot of people are going to be caught up within the fear tactic of Esau and bow down their knees to the image of Baal. Alright? But the elect, on the other hand, which Lord willing we all are a part of, we're going to be in the spirit of leaning upon Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Jumping down to verse 20, Isaiah 10:20, it says, "And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob, shall no more again stay upon him that smote them." Okay? "But shall stay upon Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, the Holy One of Israel, in truth." Alright? And in a sense, we're already doing that right now, man. Alright? As we're as we're these spiritual practitioners that are, being doers of the word, exercising faith, patience, alright, we no longer have to conform ourselves to the set identity of what Esau has stabilized people to think is important in terms of money, getting the bag, and a bunch of mortal thoughts, man. We could care less about all those things, okay? Because we understand what prophecy has awaiting, and that's nothing more but a bunch of judgment. Alright? It says, the remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty power, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Alright? For though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return. The consummation decreed shall overflow with righteousness. Alright? And that's the set circle that we want to be found in, man. Alright? Again, it's going to be very ugly out here. Alright? And we can't stress that enough. It's going to get so bad, as Yahushua said, that they shall deceive the very elect. You know? Esau is going to do everything in his ability and play and act out every dirty trick in the book. Alright? But this is where we got to lock in and understand that in order for us to receive the kingdom, we got to let go of this earthen society that is ran under the said governance of Esau. You know? And it's easier said than done, but right now is the time for you to prepare for that reality. And it's simply by you reading the scriptures, applying them within your day-to-day life, having faith in Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, and following that same process until the very end. Alright? And the end is almost here, man. Lord willing, you know, as the beloved apostles, bishops, and elders always say, this is the last, you know, Passover. Alright? A lot of things are going down, man, so we got to stay prayed up, circumspect, and understand that we're in the times where Esau is being very messy. You know, scriptures tell us that he's coming down with great wrath because he knows that he has but a short time. You know, so by us knowing that, all we can do is strive lawfully. You know, and have faith that the Most High saves us in the time of our trial. Alright? So yeah, man, with that, I wanted to make this pretty quick, just, sharing some thoughts that I had concerning this surfacing information that we see happening by way of ICE. And, no matter how it looks, things are going to start ramping up to the point to where Esau starts just doing shit. But yeah, man, with that, as always, I want to end off by giving all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rechaha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings unto the elect. Shalom.